If I say it, you won't believe it. But when Rocky said it, it was the truth.
It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit. And keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Buckle up.
Happy movement. Bang. Down. Home.
You got something to say, scumbag? I'm coming to get you.
Is this the part where I'm supposed to be scared? Boom. Boom.
Please put your hands together and give a very warm welcome to Sylvester Stallone. How nice must it be to receive such praise like that? Does it never go to your head?
Thank you all. Is this on?
It should be. Try it again.
Hello. Hi. There we go.
Yes, so when you have a crowd like this, do you never feel like it goes to your head at any point in your life?
It does. It does, but in a good way. It just makes me realize how grateful I am because I never in my wildest dreams said, oh, this is a sure thing. I just thought it'd be a little summer movie, maybe, you know, playing the 2 or 3 drive-ins. I love you too.
Well, how important is it for you when you've got fans like this all around the world?
No, I think I have a responsibility that normally a lot of actors may not feel because this is something bigger than acting. It just has turned into almost like a philosophy. Oh. Is that my wife out there saying? No. Where are you, Jennifer?
Boys.
Sitting around
She's
the
just down here.
Yeah, there.
She's down here.
Oh, there you are. Hi, love. My beautiful baby. Yeah, no. It's extraordinary, and I love it. I just feel responsible to you guys, and I just try to keep it going.
Well, that's why we wanted to include our audience in the conversation this evening, because it is an experience with, and so all the Platinum and the VIP members had the chance to submit a question before coming to the event this evening. Okay. We've got 200 of them, so you're not planning to go anywhere tonight, are you? No, we did select a few of them. We will be coming to them a bit later on this evening. But for now, I would like to kind of get the things going by maybe introducing some party tricks too, but we'll actually wait a moment for that too, because I heard that you like practical jokes. I hear you like pulling pranks on people.
Yeah, as long as they're on someone else, it's great.
So what's the best prank that you ever pulled on somebody then?
Oh my God, we're talking about, gluing the toilet seat down, basic stuff, nothing serious. Actually, it's primarily I do them on my wife, and she's a good, but I don't know. They're not something that, we do practical jokes every day.
That's part of
I fall asleep, she put the dog on my head, things like that. And I think it's a toupee, things like that.
Do they get you back, though, as well?
Oh, yeah, please, with interest. With interest.
So what's the best practical joke that somebody pulled on you?
You mean it and lived?
Yeah.
Wow. I have to go back. I think it's Arnold.
I thought you would probably say that.
He tricked me into doing Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. That's a practical joke that does not go away.
It was a month-long practical joke that he was laughing.
It was a very expensive practical joke.
Well, I guess the thing with practical jokes is that you just never know when they're going to happen.
No, you don't.
Could be any moment now, in fact.
It sounds very foreboding here.
You have to be on your toes. No, I'm
Okay.
joking. This is the first time that Experience With has come to the US, and we're very honored to have you as our very first guest for Experience With in the US.
Thank you very much.
The audience request was that we got to know you a little bit more personally before your reality TV show comes out. So we thought we'd take off those metaphorical boxing gloves and dive deep into some conversations. But on the theme of games, we've got so much conversation to get through in the first hour, then I thought we'd maybe start with a little bit of a speed run, if that's okay.
Okay,
All right,
fine.
so if you could say the first thing that comes into your head. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Sunrise or sunset?
Good sunrise for sure.
Right. Suits or sweatpants?
You know, I like sweatpant bottom, suit top. You know, kind of well-dressed gym rat.
One of those Zoom calls. Vinyl or MP3?
Vinyl.
Right. Podcasts or books?
I gotta go with a book. I mean, the podcast is great, but there's nothing like a book.
Like an old book.
Yeah.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs. Dogs. We have a cat, but it has the personality of a sock, so it's good. It's there, right? It doesn't move.
Dogs then. Traffic or blood, sweat, and tears?
What was that last one?
Traffic or blood, sweat, and tears?
Traffic or blood, sweat, and tears? I have to go with you made me so very... Blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah.
Okay. Sailing or skiing?
Oh, sailing for sure.
Miami or LA?
Can we have half and half? Like, it's half. We do. We live there half and half. That's what we do. So I'm kind of on the fence about it. What was?
Okay.
Yeah?
We'll give you that for now.
Okay.
Sly or Sylvester?
How you doing, Sly? Yeah, it's easier.
Sly.
3 syllables is a mouthful.
Okay.
Plus, when you say Sylvester, I think of the cat, like Putty Tat and Tweety Bird.
Is that what you named your cat too?
Yeah. I was so
Sylvester the cat.
glad when this guy came out in the 70s, Sly and the Family Stone. I went, thank you, because his name was Sylvester. So it's perfect.
Perfect. What about writing or directing?
Oh, well, you're talking about 2 horror shows there.
That's why I didn't include acting.
I'd have to say there's nothing like writing. It's by far, it's rough. Directing is a whole other thing, but writing.
Writing. Okay.
That's the ultimate torture.
Guns or knives?
Oh, man. I like guns. No, I'm sorry. I like knives. Knives.
Rocky or Rambo?
Rocky! Hey, Rocky! Thank you.
And lastly, TV or film?
Oh, film, of course.
Oh.
But I don't know. You don't really have real film anymore, guys. You know, you're all aware of that. Everything's now digital tape.
Well,
There is no more
is
film.
that
It's
why you
gone.
just moved to TV? Talking of, we need to give a big round of applause for Tulsa King. Just got greenlit for a 2nd season. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. What was the difference, you'd say, between doing TV and film then?
TV is much harder. It's much faster. I'll give you an example. In doing Tulsa King, you're doing 10 shows, approximately an hour each, nonstop for 5 or 6 months. So that breaks down 10 shows. If you made it, it'd be equivalent to 5 Rockies back to back. In other words, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours. So imagine doing all 5 nonstop without a break. It's pretty brutal.
So why did you decide to go down the series route with this rather than doing another franchise like Rocky? Or
I don't know. It's just there's something. I've always wanted to play that kind of character. I really have. So this has been an opportunity. I've always wanted to play like a gangster type, but with more of a sense of humor, not a dark gangster. It's like a different kind of gangster. Thank you. And finally, I got a chance to do it, and it seems to be working. And I don't know, you probably read this maybe, that in 1970 I went up as an extra in The Godfather. There's 250 extras. For a wedding scene, I would be minuscule. It'd be like a grain of sand. And they say, you don't look Italian enough. I go, what? I'm always getting mistaken for Dolph Lundgren. Yeah. Swedish. Really?
Did you speak some Italian to them at the time?
Yeah.
Just throw in a few words. But your daughter Scarlett was in Tulsa King as well, wasn't she?
My daughter Scarlett, yes.
How was that? Did you take on a completely different role on set, or was it still very much father-daughter like?
Well, it's because she wants to be her own person, so she sort of separates, and she's under the guidance of a director. I told her, they say nepotism starts at home. Of course it does, but I wanted her. She had to earn the part, and I think is Terry here? Terry Winter, Terrence Winter. There he is. Hi. He was the boss of Tulsa King, right there. Boardwalk Empire, The Sopranos. That's the man. Did some amazing work. So it had to go through a process. It wasn't as though, okay, here's my daughter. She had to be the right type. She had to, basically read. So she was good. She pulled it off.
And I know that you support all of your children in all of their adventures. You've got your other 2 daughters doing the Unwaxed podcast, which you've all
They do a podcast,
on.
but they're really, my other daughter has a book club, and then they're going on. We just did a reality show, which is going to be sensational. It's different, because I wanted to do it. Why'd you do a reality show? Because I want to be real. I want people to see how we live at home, our sense of humor, relationship with the daughters. It's the ultimate home movie. And I thought, why not? It always is, yeah. It's not some goofy storyline. It's just us being us, and we'll see how that works.
And you always...
And then next year, we'll team up with Ozzy Osbourne and see how that works out. Yeah.
Well, I have a question for you regarding your children, and that is, why did you decide to have them all have the same initials as you? Was that a conscious decision, or did it happen organically initially and you carried it on?
I don't want to be accused of favoritism. So I go, oh, your name is Rose, you're Lily, and you're Flower, whatever. And I thought, just make them all Rose. You can't. How do you criticize the name Rose? Sophia Rose, Sistine Rose, and that was it. Plus, we all have matching towels. Perfect. Cuts down on the laundry. But I just thought, yeah, let's keep it simple.
It's good that you came up with enough names to do so. But
I wanted to call her Shanghai Rose, but that didn't fly.
But the SS, I guess, is another way to bond you all. And as you just said, family is really important to you. Why is that so much, do you think?
Because at the end, there's you say, I've never seen anyone like on their way out, on their deathbed going, God, I wish I had one more day at the office. I just, it's not it. So you have to put your priorities in line. It only took me about 45 years to figure this out. And now I see the future, and I want to spend as much time with my wife and my children and just make sure, yeah, I've accomplished everything and more. And now I want, I'd like to have my legacy was that they're off on a good start and they're, having their own lives and their own successes. When I'm up there, and well, actually, I'll probably be in hell going, water, please.
Do you think it's something to do with your upbringing as well in your family life when you were a child and you wanted to do things differently?
Yeah, exactly right. I just wanted to be the antithesis. I didn't have a very good upbringing, to say the least. And I think there's a lot of reasons why I chose this profession. Because in this profession, you can fake it and pretend you're something else. And that's why you see so many actors that in person, when you meet them, they're kind of quiet, they're reserved, they're withdrawn. And then they get in front of a camera and like, wow, they light up. Because that's when they're most comfortable, being outside their bodies. And so it's interesting, the artistic inclinations of most actors and writers, whatever, is to kind of sometimes overcome their childhood, filling some vacuum that was not filled by nurturing, and so they continue to pour out their feelings. So you show me a happy actor and I'll show you a crappy thespian. You know, it's just the way it is.
But I guess it changes throughout the years as it's gone on, you know, as you've become more and more successful in what you're doing. And then you, as you said, you've flipped that coin and you've now created a nice family unit for yourself and showing your children something that you didn't feel that you had. So how valuable do you think it is to have that family unit and that support when you're on set every day?
It's the ultimate. I've tried it both ways. You know, it took a long time, and then when Jennifer came along, even that was interesting because she's the ultimate of stability. She's a self-made woman, has her own businesses, and she instilled that in our daughters. So they're highly independent, which is fantastic. But then again, they're also extremely bonded to the mother and hopefully me, and it's a joy. But I have to say, it all starts, I believe, with the mother. You know, that Mama.
Tell us a little bit about like what your roles are within the family then.
Well, it's really
in
simple.
terms of like looking after the children.
I make all the mistakes, and she corrects them. That's pretty much how it works. It's very, very simple. You know, I realize that there's a vast difference between men and women do have incredible hearing. It's literally amazing. And second of all, they have insight. They tend to step back and be very observant. And men can be sometimes impetuous and rush into it because that's what guys do. And the women sort of like, oh, let's just take it back a few notches and discuss this before you act. And it's pretty important. It's very important, actually. But I didn't do that for many, many years. I'd say, what do you know? And it shows you I know nothing.
And are these the kind of things that we're going to see in the reality TV series that's coming out? Because normally, you know, most people like to keep their personal life personal, but of course you flip that coin and allowing the cameras into the home.
Yeah, exactly, because I'm proud of our life, and I think we have a very interesting unit going on. And more importantly, I believe it'll be entertaining, that you see that we're really not that different. I happen to be a very lucky individual, and we're blessed, but just like why Rocky appeals to such a cross-section of individuals is because he has the same issues. We have the same issues and problems, and, you know, like, oh yeah, always, you know, you're just, at home, you're not taken as, you're like, oh, God, people go, oh, Rocky, you get home, you go, move out of the way, Dad, you're blocking the butter, that kind of, really, that sort of thing. You're not taken as like, oh, it's my father, Rocky. Oh, yeah. No.
Well, like, I guess it's just an extension.
Beat it, pal. You're blocking the TV. They grab the channel changer, which is, when you take a channel changer away from a man, it's like defrocking a priest. It's like, what? What? And it happens. They just grab him.
Are you a big sports fan? Do you always have sports on at home?
Yeah, well, you know, believe it or not, I like boxing, so it's pretty simple. It's pretty, my tastes are like, pretty narrow.
But I guess it's a bit of an extension of all of the TikTok videos and the Instagram that we already see you doing already. And I think, you know, people really enjoy all of the things that you put out there.
Oh, thank you, because I wasn't sure about it, so that's why I haven't done it for a while. I didn't know if I was overstaying my welcome. No.
Ah.
All right, in that case, get ready. Waxing poetic. No, I think it's a really an interesting tool if you can use it. My Instagram is kind of like haphazard because I do it myself. So it's like,
But as
I know.
you didn't. Sorry, carry on.
No, I'm just saying. I've kind of stayed away for a while, but I think it's a useful tool. It's unbelievable how you can just have a thought and all of a sudden you reach millions of people. And it's nice.
Certainly for you, because people listen to what you say. You have this opportunity to speak to so many people around the world and use your voice and your wisdom to help so many people. And I know that you do that as well.
Well, I try. The thing is, I don't believe in preaching to anyone. I say what works for me, maybe works for you. That sort of a thing, as opposed to going, hey, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, Everyone has their own style. Everyone has their own pace, their own fingerprints. It's not like there is no set thing. If the way I write, the way Terry writes, it's a whole different process. Yet we hopefully come to the same conclusion at the end, or the same result is like, okay, fine, we provide entertainment. But when I tell you, I've never met two artists alike. It's just drastically different. So when I talk, I am only talking, I said, what works for me maybe works for you. Because obviously we all have similar issues. We really do. We really, really do. Life is like, it's not that complicated. There's a lot of pressure, but we know the difference between right and wrong and so on and so forth, and when to be aggressive, when not. So you just talk about those kind of things.
Talking of right and wrong, though, what do you think in general about social media? Because obviously you didn't grow up with it, and now you probably see a lot of pros and cons.
Of what?
Social media in general.
Oh, well, it's a phenomenon that is here to stay. Do I think it's the greatest thing in the world? No. No, because it makes things a little too easy. I think it's really important when you want to talk to somebody, you have to actually go and talk to them face to face. It's a big difference as opposed to, you have this thing in your hand and you can intrude on someone's life. They can intrude on yours. And like 3 in the morning, you think, oh, come on, I'm sleeping here, kind of a thing,
Yeah, I mean, you're certainly a lot more accessible, aren't you?
Oh, my God. No, it's a brilliant thing, believe me. I mean, it's accelerated, it has wonderful things, but also has, it can make you a little lazy.
Lazy, yeah.
Little lazy,
I think it also
including myself. I mean,
it also makes people feel that they get to know you a little bit more, like the reality TV show is going to do, because it cuts down that fourth wall. I certainly felt like a stalker doing my research for tonight.
Well, I don't know. It's interesting when you talk about getting to know someone more. It's almost an audience question where in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, it was all about mystique. Actors would stay off of media. They would stay out of it. And you built kind of these legendary characters, like, you from Marilyn Monroe on and Marlon Brando, because you didn't see them as much. Today, your lives are pretty much an open book. So I don't know if the stars of yesterday, I think, have more weight because they were more mysterious than today. You can just look up and you know everything about that person. Everything about their family, so on and so forth. So I think that's kind of changed a little bit.
Well,
Not a lot.
I like that you use it to, insert your wisdom into people's minds and all of your analogies, and you put your analogies into your writing as well.
Yeah.
We heard some of them in this video just now. And what's your favorite one, would you say? Your favorite motivational?
Analogies?
Yeah, motivational phrase.
I like the idea that, we hit about 3 or 4 or 5 crossroads in our life, and these are major crossroads. You're 20, then you're 30, then you're 40, and you go, oh, shit, did I make a mistake at 30? That's going to affect 40. And so the point is, it's all about the comeback. I'm all about that. Like, okay, stop this progress, reverse it before you keep going with it. So I love stories about redemption, like the comeback. That's it. Because, guys, it's all about the comeback. There's, somebody, if I see a fighter, for example, and he's undefeated, oh, he's 44-0 with 44 knockouts, I go, boring. I mean, great athlete, but boring in the sense that I want to see the guy who's lost 10 times come back. Because that's what life is. It's all about the comeback in every facet.
Yeah. And that's why you chose to write your movies that way, and then did
Yes.
the latest Rocky.
Yeah, it's just, I find it fascinating because it's something that isn't necessary. Otherwise, you just go to your grave with, this cloak of regret. And that's not, it doesn't have to be that way.
So if there was one message that you could say to anybody out here in the audience who's maybe struggling with their lives or career or direction, what would that be?
Well, of course, everyone is different, but it's fearful. It's fearful. Life gets more and more difficult as we get older. We think it gets easier. It doesn't. It gets more complicated and layered. I've always said that life is kind of like from 1 to 40, it's all about addition, and from 40 on, it's about subtraction. And you have to say, you know what? How do I make myself happy? What is it going to do? Like, I try to make everyone happy. Now, what is the thing that's going to make me happy? But in doing that, you may have to change your life drastically. And that takes a lot of guts. But it's going to be worth it, because sometimes we follow a path that wasn't the right path, and how do I turn around? It's not easy. No. So that's the struggle, and it's kind of like a goal. It's like, if you go to the gym, you go there, you're not in good shape, after a year, you get stronger and stronger and stronger. Same thing with life. If you just start to apply it, the first few times you go, I want to change, it's like horrifying, terrifying. But if you start, you'll be shocked. It's like writing. My first 20 pages are horrible. But you keep at it, and you keep at it, and you keep at it.
You certainly did that.
You'd be shocked.
I mean, you proved that all of this works.
I never passed an English course in my life. I went to 13 schools in 12 years. I was really, you talk about ADD, I set the record for it. I never went to class. I went to college for 4 years. I don't remember going to a class. I mean, I was more interested in just going out and about. So the idea is you have to have some sort of education. That's not true. You have to have an idea. You have to have some curiosity that you want to pursue. But to actually have the scholastic diploma doesn't make you more successful than a guy who has none, but has it up here to be hungry. It's the truth.
I guess that's where the saying "keep punching" came from.
It is keep punching. It is.
Yeah.
It's all about keep punching. Like that. Once there was a little old ram who kept his head against the dam until he knocked the dam down. That's it.
Keep going, yeah. And the metaphor for it is brilliant. Knocking down those walls. Keep going, keep going, keep going. But what would you say, and how would you say that parents can really talk to their children about violence when they see it so much on TV and in video games these days? Obviously, this saying, keep punching, it means a lot metaphorically, but for children, do they really understand it? And what advice would you give to parents?
Well, I have a lot to say on that subject because I'm a little paranoid about society today. I just think that it's not what it was 20, 30 years ago. And it is not, guys. It's a very dangerous world. It's a very unpredictable world. And it's not your fault. It's other bad decisions by other people have put society in this position. So, okay, now it's a matter of survival. And how do you survive? I'm a big believer in Murphy's Law. If it can happen, it will. I'm a big believer in the Boy Scout credo. Be prepared. So I teach my daughter, I said, everything that can happen will. So if you don't think this is going to happen, you're wrong. So it's all about approaching with caution and not walking around like, oh, God, everyone loves me and I love them. It's a big, wide, wonderful world. It's not. It's a tough, like I said in Rocky, it's a mean and nasty world. It'll beat you to your knees and keep you there. I don't care who you are. Nobody punches as hard as life. Who wrote that dribble?
I guess it's a fine line between saying that and then instilling fear into the younger generation.
I think you have to have it. You have to have a healthy fear. Okay. Otherwise, you won't stay alive. If you think that, okay, I'm just going to walk down the street and no one's ever going to bother, you're wrong. If you don't think you're ever going to be fired, you're wrong. You better be prepared for the worst, and then you're ready.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you have no idea. I'm on like alert all the time.
But I guess when children were growing up, they wanted to watch their dad on TV and on film and movies. Sorry, I'm British here. But they would see their dad then with guns and with knives and throwing punches. And so, what did you say to them when they were young?
I say, follow what Daddy does. That's you better here. Borrow my knife. Listen, I have a healthy appreciation for the unpredictable, so I keep my girls on high alert. What'd you say, Jennifer? I'm telling you.
Well, I guess it's a good opportunity to teach like self-defense.
My daughter hits so friggin' hard. Am I wrong? I used to hold the mitts for her, going, that's it, I'm done. I mean, crack, boom. So I said, my dream is to have her at some bar and a big thug comes over and says, oh, hey, buy you a drink, and boom, he's out. I said, honey, it's all in the hips. It's all. So they know how to throw a seriously left hook, a serious left hook.
Do we get to see some of this on the reality show?
We do. I do. I spar a little bit. But again, I have them punch my hand and go, God damn, what's going on? This is not good. They're actually hurting Rambo. What's going on?
But on the flip side to all of this, I guess there has to be a lot of balance. And so what do you do to really kind of ground yourself when you're outside of work and action?
How do I balance myself outside of work? Oh, God. I could say, oh, I paint a little bit, but that makes you more unbalanced, to tell you the truth. It's like, again, it just drives you more crazy because every time you are creating, you get frustrated quite a lot. So that doesn't help. It doesn't help. I think, Jennifer, what do we do? It's just seriously, I just shut my mouth and listen to you. Basically, that gives me a lot of peace of mind. Let her do all the work. But she makes the better decisions. I just sit back and go for the ride. Up there, if someone breaks into the house, I'll be ready to kick some butt. Other than that, it's her job.
So you don't do anything grounding, like have a cup of tea, meditate?
No.
Music.
Meditate? No.
Well, I guess that's
First of all, it's pretty hard to sit cross-legged with arthritic knees, so that's out. And I don't know. I just, I don't think humming helps anything. It's what I do, seriously, I used to have what is called, God, I'm a maniac. When I was broke, I used to have mirror therapy. Mirror therapy. I'd go in the bathroom with this cracked, horrible mirror and just give myself a lecture. It's like De Niro in, Taxi Driver. You talking to me? Yeah, I am talking to you, stupid. Listen, right here. And you'd be shocked when you start to talk to yourself. And I go, wow, because no one else would listen. So, perfect. And it's sitting in that dingy room having these conversations when you're completely broke, saying, this is what you're going to do, and you're going to buy a house like this, and you're going to have 2 Dobermans, and you have nothing. You get it? That kind of kept me going, this kind of facade. Just hanging out with yourself there.
So motivational talking then to yourself is the main thing. You don't ever kind of have any downtime. It's just always go, 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 go.
Not really. No downtime. It's sort of downtime. I mean, for example, Tulsa King. Oh my God. Has anyone seen it?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, somebody's making a lot of money there, Terry. It ain't us. Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. But that is what you call crazy, disruptive, exhausting situation. It really is. So the downtime, anything away from that is like nirvana.
That's
you
when
just
you
go
sit
home
down
and sit on the
watch all
couch. You go, hey, put a potato next to me and we'll sit there and watch TV, be a couch potato. That to me is just heaven.
Okay. But it doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't. I'm telling you, the best time of the day is when we have coffee in the morning, and she brings in biscotti, and these cookies, and I fill the bed with crumbs, and she starts to go crazy, and that's it. It's a routine every morning. You have to eat in bed. I said, yes, I do. I do. Full of crumbs. It's like a slob. It's a routine. It's for years, right? Really, Mr. Crummy.
Well, you slyly mentioned your art collection just then. Slyly, I like the way I said that. I just did that by accident.
Yeah.
But you just launched this whole art collection that's been doing really well. So would you like to talk a little bit more about that?
About painting?
Yeah, or your artwork.
I don't know. We could find something more interesting than that.
Okay.
It's subjective. Some paintings you go, oh, this guy really is horrible, and some people like it. Painting is very, very, it's unique. Like you'll go down to Art Basel and you look at 500 paintings, you go, this stuff is terrible. And other people go, this is brilliant. It's really very peculiar about art. So we'll pass on that.
Okay. Well, what I find so brilliant is the fact that in your downtime, you still manage to do something like an entire art collection that then goes on display.
Yeah.
And so it's not, as you say, downtime, because you're just always on the go, like a Duracell bunny, just finding something to do.
Guys, she's flattering me. I'm really not that ambitious. It's like, seriously, it's this volcano, boom, and then it just, chills out, becomes dormant, and then boom, it happens again. Because no one can keep going boom, boom all the time. You just blow up. It's really peaks and valleys. Life is all peaks and valleys. There was a time I couldn't get a job, and from, what was it, 98, Jennifer, to 98 to Rocky 6. Literally nothing. That's why I did Spy Kids. That was it. They go, hey.
But somewhere in amongst all of that, you managed to set up.
That wasn't a choice. That was it.
You managed to set up
Who did I?
a podcast network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't set it up.
You didn't.
My
Just like a
daughter
name
said,
to it.
yeah, no, I wouldn't know where to start with a podcast. But I find it really interesting. Again, it's a new form of people getting their information. It's fantastic. But I don't do it. I couldn't do it it takes too much discipline.
What about your production company then? What kind
That's
of
something
involvement
else.
do you have with that?
Balboa Productions. You know what it is? Thank you. I think life is one big bicycle wheel. It's going to come around. And I'm a big believer in action films. They go, oh, action films. And sometimes in Hollywood, action films are looked down on, like, oh, this is the bottom of the artistic basement, which is BS. It's so hard to do a great action film. And I'm talking about everything, not just me, I'm talking about these Marvels, whatever. This is years and hundreds of millions of dollars. And what they're trying to create, really, are mythical figures. Every society, since the dawn of time, since it crawled out of a cave, has had some deity, something to worship and something to live to. So why are we here? So they create Achilles and this, and Homer and the Odyssey and so on and so forth. Well, as each generation moves on, today, modern mythology is based on heroes that we see in cinema. But it should be the heroes we see in everyday life, like cops and policemen and doctors and surgeons. They're the heroes, you know what I mean? And by the way, plumbers. Plumbers are the biggest heroes in the world. They get no credit. Think about a world without plumbers. Need I say any more? That's right. Next time, you'll think twice about it when you flush. I miss that guy. One of the great inventors of all time. Someday I was going to do a movie on the first toilet. All right, it's in the works. I know, we're excited about it. But no, so you look at action films, Charles Bronson, Clint Eastwood, it's modern mythology, Rambo. And that's what's taken the place of the more historical mythology. So I look at action films as something that's necessary about morality, the good versus evil. It's real simple. It really is simple. And people take it to heart because it's in our DNA. Protecting the family, this and that, taking out the bad guy. I mean, it's good. It's good over evil. Every society has had it since the dawn of time. So I look at it with great pride. And when I started out with Rambo, I was the 11th choice. Nobody wanted to do it. No one. Everyone passed. And I go, you guys are idiots. This is fantastic stuff. This is like... I mean, we had to clear away a few things here and there, but it was an interesting character because it's about America being the father and Rambo being the son, and then the son does what the father wants, and then the father says, get lost, rejects them. So it's about rejection. Everyone can relate to that on a subliminal level. So my point is, I love these kind of films. That's what Balboa Productions are bringing back, those kinds of man against the man against the machine, man against himself. That's it.
Can you share any of the movies that you've commissioned that are going to be in production soon?
Yeah, okay, we're gonna do a thing called Hunter, and that's based on a novel. It's been sitting around for 1,000 years. We're probably going to do one, well, Samaritan is going to come up again.
Ah.
Yeah. I like Samaritan. I don't know what to do with it, but we're going to work on it.
Well, you've got your good versus evil there.
Yeah, it's good versus evil. And by the way, he is evil, but he's realized he's a good evil.
Yeah.
And he takes out worse evil. So it's like, it pays off.
So we'll be seeing a sequel to that, did you say? We'll be seeing a sequel to that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to catch such crap for sequels because I was really into sequels. And I go, you see a television show, it runs for 10 years. That's a sequel. Yeah, you do it in a movie, you sell out. You ran out of ideas. Let me tell you something, sequels are harder than the original because you've lost the element of surprise. Seriously, like doing a series, and Terrence will tell you, on Sopranos, Boardwalk Empire, Tulsa King, Yellowstone, every year it gets harder and harder and harder to maintain that interest because what's left? That's why Rocky to me is a phenomenon. No, seriously. No, not because I did it. It's because the fact that it hung around all those years. It's like amazing. Thank you. And,
So we have a sequel for Samaritans. And then there's a plumber movie coming out, right?
Yes. It's called I'm Flushed.
Oh, I like it already. Fantastic. And so what else do you want to do with your production company? Do you want to do TV as well as movies?
No, I said I want to sit back and go, okay, guys, this is what I've accumulated to young filmmakers. And all I want to do is kind of like be a fellow that prevails, over like the production a little bit, like in a good way, not overbearing, but go, I've done this, take this way, avoid that pothole, you don't need to go there. In other words, try to guide them and that sort of, and then let them do their own thing. Because I don't want to continue to do that. I don't know, you can't help but repeat yourself. You do have a peak. You might not think you have a peak, but you do have a peak. And I've certainly, my peak, God, I don't know when it's going to run out, but it did run out. And I'm on borrowed time, and I'm enjoying it. It's like, you know what I mean? The last thing I expected was to have, be on a streaming series. No. I thought I'd be in some igloo with my wife somewhere, like, ice fishing. I had no idea we'd still be here. So the idea is like, if you can pass on that knowledge to a hungry generation that is willing to do those kinds of movies, which is personal entertainment, not big message movies. The message, again, is what you want to take out of it. Mm-hmm. You could take a message out of Iron Man if you want to. It depends how you see it. So that's what I want to kind of like be more
focus on.
poignant.
As you say, there's always an underlying story to the main story anyway, that's generally one, as you're saying, something about good and evil, or got those underlying messages. Is it really, sorry?
No, I'm saying that's always, good writing is, there's always a subplot. In other words, he's saying one thing, but he means another. If you can do that duplicitousness, then that's writing. If you don't do that, it's called typing. And that's not right. That's just typing.
And is it specifically young filmmakers that you want to work with so you can mentor them?
Oh, God, there's many of them, but I don't know. It's as though you have to have a certain kind of philosophy to work together, because films they're forever. And if you're not on the same page as the director, you might as well forget about it. So and I've done that. I've done it where, Jesus, you're into a movie 2 weeks ago. This is a disaster. I'm going down for the count. I knew the first week of Rhinestone, I said, nobody is going to see this movie. I went to the studio. I said, pull the plug. You brought the album? Oh, my God, do you run Fox Studios? Holy shit. That's the only album they made. One of one, he's here. That's funny. I take it back. My favorite movie. Last night I went out honky-tonky. Yeah.
Well, you've got so many other side projects as well, a charity that you set up for autism, and of course your Sylvester Stallone shop, which has got some really cute little items on it, if any of the ladies want to check those out, slystaloneshop.com.
Hey. Yeah?
I got your sweats, I got your hat, I got your whole...
Wow.
We should have done that as a dress
Thank
code.
you.
Next time.
I'm humbled. Wow. You too?
Next time we'll have a dress code for the event, and everybody can come in your clothing.
You Facebooked me and honored me
I did?
on Jake Miller's post. Your Jake Miller post.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, Jake Miller.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, my dreams come true.
Hey.
Well, you are making a lot of people happy this evening, and as the audience are already getting involved, I think we should hand over to some
I
questions.
didn't win the ticket, but I won better.
Hey.
Well, we do have some questions from the audience.
I
as well,
hate shy
so-
people. Wow.
That's fantastic. So it's so nice to see that the audience are involved. That's why it's an experience with, and I think that it's time we had some questions from our audience as well.
I'd like
because
that.
We have plenty of time for those. So our first question, we did select a few already, so I'll go with the ones that we've got here. It's table 14, seat 5, and it's Carol's Araya, if you've got the microphone. I saw somebody waving already. Do we have... I thought the microphone was with them, so I thought that's why they were waving.
Oh, here
and there
she
it is,
comes.
it's coming. All right.
Magic Mike.
Table 14 is just here in the front, seat 5. Carol's
Right.
Araya.
Yeah. Oh, my question. What was your experience working out with Franco Columbu? Well, how would you
Franco
describe it?
Columbu?
Yes.
Hi. For those that don't know, Franco Columbu was this very well-built bodybuilder from Sardinia who used to he was incredibly strong. So I used him to train for Rocky II and actually Rambo III. But, like an idiot, this guy could run on the beach with a 600-pound refrigerator on his back, and he says, "Hey, you want to have a bench press contest?" I go, "Sure." And so I'm in his garage, his really crappy garage, and he had an owl with one wing. Can't make it up. Sitting in the rafter. And I'd already worked out, so I got into a bench press competition with a guy who was doing pull-ups behind his neck with 175 pounds hanging around his neck. We're talking freakishly strong. So, of course, it wasn't that much. It's like maybe 260. I go to bench press, bang. I hear something that sounds like literally a rifle shot. And what happened is my pec exploded. It literally ripped off the bone. And I would go, oh. And if you never had that, you got to try it. It's amazing. First of all, you fall on the ground, you throw up. Then you look at your arm, and it starts to literally turn this color because the veins are torn and your arm is turning blue. Then as you're laying on the ground sick with your arm turning blue, this fucking owl starts circling around with one wing because he's going like this. And I think I'm dreaming, and then Franco comes over and goes, I got these. And he jams his thumb where my chest was, and I go ah! So I got very feminine, and the point was, here's what I'm leading up to. It was so bad that it took about 2 months before they could operate, and they put put a cable here, literally a cable. But before that, I was supposed to do Rocky 2. And I said, I can't do it because I can't use my right arm, basically. And I went, the pen, the mighty the pen. Rocky learns how to fight right-handed. So I wrote Mickey. He goes, this time we're going to switch. We're going to fool him. They're going to fight right-handed. At the last second, you switch. That was because I couldn't use my arm. And I wasn't about to cancel the movie. So thank you, Mr. Owl. Thank you, Franco.
And what's your fitness regime like nowadays? Because it still seems like you're in very good shape.
Oh, well, I creak now and then. I've had about 5 back surgeries, 3 neck fusions, both shoulders on both knees. Yeah. I am like the robot in... Yeah, seriously. You follow the yellow brick road, that's me. The Wizard of Oz.
Did you have all those injuries from all of the action work that you've been doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Put yourself on.
It's taken a toll. It really has. My advice is do not do your own stunts. No upside.
So what do you do now for fitness?
For fitness, I use a thing, it's about a 100-year-old system called dynamic tension, and it's called maximum contraction and rubber bands. And I'm actually almost the same strength as I was. Oh. It's interesting, yeah. And you're in the gym for maybe 18 minutes. Done.
Okay, yeah. That's short. Nice and easy.
Check it out,
busy
max
schedule.
contraction.
Let's go to our next question from the audience. Table 11, seat 1. We have Michelle Brookshire with a question. Can't see table 11. Over here to the right, to our right.
Hi, Sly.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
My question for you is, what was your biggest struggle in life, and how did you overcome them?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. What were my travels in life?
Biggest struggle.
What was your
Struggle,
biggest
my
struggle?
biggest struggle. Okay, and how did I overcome it? Well, I didn't. The point is you deal with it your whole life. I mean, I don't think you ever overcome anything. Like, you go to a psychiatrist basically to handle this situation, but it doesn't go away, period. So my biggest struggle was, of course, the way I was raised. I didn't really understand sympathy and perhaps empathy for other people. I was all about like, oh man, nobody likes me, I have a horrible life, that kind of thing. And I think that's why I got into the business I got into, to try to change my reality. So the biggest struggle is I finally have found a wonderful support system in my beautiful wife and family, and that only took about 45 years. The point is, the biggest struggle is to understand you're always going to have a struggle. And it's like, how do you make peace with that? I'm serious. Don't think that, oh God, I'm going to all of a sudden become a new person. It's like a back operation. You're never going to be the same. The pain will subside maybe 60%, but it's never going to go away. You're never going to be that perfect creature. So don't set your goals like, oh God, I'm not without negativity. We all have negativity. You wake up in the morning, some days you get like, I hate everything. I'm not in a good mood. Why? I don't know. I slept 8 hours. I just wake up that way. That's life. So you got to like say, oh, okay, it'll pass, like the weather, and not get so overwhelmed, like, why am I feeling like crap? Everyone does. And you get over it, right? Seriously. Life ain't all sunshine and rainbows.
It's a lot of mindfulness, though, that you have there. I think sometimes people don't always sort of have that awareness that you seem to have about how you feel internally and like what you get externally.
No, I don't think so, no. But hopefully it comes out in the writing sometimes. But I've just come to terms that there's just no thing as perfection. If anything, it's like, how do you deal with rejection? How do you make it work? How do you, okay, I make a mistake. Every time I make a mistake, I go, maybe that's a doorway to another solution. I never would have thought of that. It's like when I'm writing, I go, oh God, I didn't expect to write this line. And I go, wow, that just triggered some thought to write more in that direction. Painting, forget it. You make a mistake, you go, oh shit, I added too much yellow here. You go, wow, I never would have done that normally. That looks pretty damn good. Well, so I try to take all these nightmares or mistakes and say, no, they're just portals to a different perspective.
But I have to say, it takes a very strong mind to always see the positive in things, and that's what you seem to always do. Just keep coming back, seeing the positive.
Keep coming back. I mean, you
mistakes.
do have struggles. You don't think you don't. I have battles all the time. Good against evil, devil, this, that, and you just struggle. And I want people to think that nothing's wrong with you. That's the human condition.
Yeah.
That's it.
As you say, happens to everybody. All right, let's go to our next question. Table 2, seat 8, and it's Jeffrey Cockle. Table 2. Where's table 2? 7.
Here we go.
There we go.
Hello, Mr. Stallone. How are you? First of all, I wanted to say thank you so much for coming. And you're wonderful in Tulsa King, and I think you're a beautiful writer. Beautiful.
Thank you
I don't care what
very much.
anybody says. Your writing is, it's blockbuster. I love it. It's great. But my question for you, sir, is who was your biggest inspiration in your films and movies, and especially in your life?
Well, in writing, believe it or not, it wasn't until I started reading some of the classics, mainly Edgar Allan Poe, and that's why I'm so fascinated. Of course, he's by far 10 times more erudite and dynamic in his writing than I'll ever be, but it was a path. And then I started reading Hemingway and some of these the more simplistic classics, and I started to develop a kind of a voice. But what was the second part of the question? Who's the biggest influence? No, I mean, I admired, like, to me, my favorite actor, who just, as you know, is Peter O'Toole, and to me, the greatest performance in the English language speaking is Peter O'Toole in Lion and Winter, beyond belief. The best writing, best acting I've ever seen in my life. Because probably you've never seen it, check it out, Lion and Winter. And at the very end, you realize, I won't spoil it for you, but it's just absolute brilliance. So that's who but I realize, I admire people I realize I can't do what they do. And I go, wow, I admire that. If I look at a painter and I go, oh, I could do that. I don't, but if I say, yeah, you know what I mean?
Well,
but if I can't do that, I admire you.
I wanted to say, Mr. Stallone, that I admire you.
Oh, you keep punching. Thank you.
There's a lot of people here that admire you. Our next question is on table 17, seat 7, Nick Kondekuka. I hope I said it correctly. I apologize if not. Are you standing up here?
Actually, Sly, this is my brother Nick. I'm Rocky. He bought me this ticket as a Christmas gift, as a surprise. It's a pleasure speaking to you. Being named Rocky my whole life, you've been with me my whole life. And our question to you, it's a two-part question. Number one is your secret to longevity. How has your workout routine changed throughout the years, mentally and physically? And a boxing question. I know you sparred with all the greats. Aaron Pryor. I want to know what you thought of Aaron Pryor.
My God.
Because I'm a master's boxer. I box myself because of you. You influenced me. And Aaron Pryor's one of my favorites. And I know you promoted him. And I got to know what he was like in the ring. Thank you, Sly. God bless.
You know a lot about me. Okay. Well, Aaron Pryor, I'll tell you a story about him in a minute. But working out, I try to make it a hobby where it's not like a burden, because every day you just start to get a little bit better. But what happens is the old-fashioned routine of just lifting weights eventually will cripple you, will beat you up, will break you down. Every great bodybuilder I know is a mess, because our joints are not meant to take tons and tons and tons and tons of weight. Eventually they break like anything would. So I started to maintain a situation where I started working out with more cables and resistance, where the weights, even hand weights or cables, would be used in an athletic fashion. I think just lifting weights, you create uneducated muscle. So all I can do is this, where, like, if you ever watch me and Arnold throw a punch, okay, here's the difference. I'll go snap. He'll go. That's a fact. No snap to it. It's like, because that's what he's learned. So I find that if you work with cables and rubber bands and you're stretching and you're moving, you're just building so many muscles at the same time, as you know. That's what. Shadow boxing is the best, and just things where you're employing everything at the same time rather than just your biceps. Now as for Aaron Pryor was one of the great fighters of all time. So I have him under contract, and he had knocked out Alexis Aguayo. It was unbelievable. So I have him in a fight in New Jersey. It's a 12-round fight. He's lost 11 rounds. He got a concussion in the first round against a guy named Gary Hinton. He comes back to the corner, and every round they're going, and this is important, it's like a lesson in life. Come on. They always say, be first, throw your left, come underneath, go after him, what's wrong with you? They continually berate. Throw your left, be first. And I'm thinking, I said, if he could, he would. So stop saying the same thing to this guy. His eyes were shut. So I'm sitting there, I climbed into the ring, I'm wearing a suit. This is about 85. I get there, I said, look, Aaron, your mother's there, your sister's there. No matter what happens, you're a great fighter. We all love you. It doesn't matter what the result is. It's all about we admire everything you've done. And again, we love you no matter what. He goes, really? I go, yeah, really. He got up and knocked the guy out. The 12th round. Knocked the guy out. Look it up. Because we took the pressure off of him. You still like me? Yeah. It just, for some reason, it kicked in his adrenals. So it's nice to be nice. That's the moral of that. But yeah, that's my Aaron Pryor thing. You bet.
Thank you. Well, that is all the time we have for questions from our audience today. But if you want to hear more conversation with Sylvester, or Sly, as we've established, then you can look at the website experiencewith.com, and there's loads more conversations on there with Sly. Before we go, though, I'd love to just hear a little bit about your Christmas time. I'm hoping, in amongst all your busy schedule, that you're going to get a little bit of downtime with the family. What does a Christmas look like in the Stallone household?
Well, last year was a disaster. So when we were delivered a Christmas tree, and they sent it to the wrong house, and they kept it. They kept it. So my wife is going around, tracks the tree down, and he goes, this wasn't your tree. Why would you just take it? And so we pulled the tree out. Now it's all bent and weird. We put it up, right, in the house, and it's the ugliest tree I've ever seen. It's like a big round tree. And of course, who tripped on something, right? Oh, so the wind blows the door open, hits the tree, covered in light bulbs, smashes into the couch, and I said, you know what? F it, leave it. That's how we're spending Christmas. It's a, am I right? So now our tree is this big with a little tinsel. That's it, done.
And you're going to be in Miami or in LA?
No, we're here. We're here right now, but yeah. And then she had spent thousands of dollars with the finest ornaments ever. And of course, like a guy, I go, what are all these boxes in the garage? And I give them away. Oh, no. And she literally went, it took me 20 years to collect them. Gone. Oh. Am I wrong? Give it to all the gardeners, everyone. Hey, free bulbs, free lights. Take an elf. Go.
So a simple one this year.
So it's a Christmas nightmare.
Well, I do hope that you have a lovely holiday with the family.
Yeah, we have a great time.
No matter what size the tree is. I think it's time, though, to put our hands together and give a huge round of applause for Sylvester Stallone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. It's lovely to talk to you.
I love you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, Sylvester Stallone.